to the Trevor Report. Let's jump right into it. FCC Commissioner Carr calls for TikTok ban, and there's a lot of politicking on both sides. The left is obviously saying, "Oh, you can't get rid of TikTok. Oh, it's fine. Everyone spies on everyone." But it doesn't matter. Okay, here's what the new right, the Patriot crowd. Here's what everyone. Okay, the MAGA crowd. This is what everyone needs to be concerned with. For one, they need to read Saul Alinsky, not because he's a raging leftist, but because it's he's a political realist, very similar to Machiavelli, but he's modern, and people on the left have certainly read Saul Alinsky, or at least they act as if they have. The other thing that they need to do is they need to implement some of these ideas, okay? If TikTok gets banned, there are plenty of alternatives to TikTok, plenty of viable ones, even in the big tech sphere. There's YouTube Shorts and Instagram Reels, which, let's be honest, tad bit better than TikTok, just a tad. I'm just saying. TikTok has this sort of atmosphere, ethic around it that people just inherently don't like, but they tolerate, right? And it's the same sort of thing with YouTube Shorts, okay? But the best part, okay, is that Getter has an alternative to TikTok called Vision. It is a startup. Vision has over 10 million plus users. Way more than half of them are active. It's an unsaturated market. There are a lot of advantages that Americans particularly have to banning TikTok. Okay, the politicking on the left and the politicking on the right doesn't matter. Okay, it certainly doesn't matter to me. Okay, TikTok gets banned, more people go to Vision. Okay, and honestly, I don't have TikTok, so I don't care. I don't have any stake in this. But anyway, let's continue to some Democrat elitism, because why not? Biden lost his temper with Zelensky in June phone call when Ukrainian leader asked for more aid, which means Russia, Ukraine, and the United States has officially devolved into a sugar daddy supplying a sugar baby money, and and her boo is coming back from the war to discover that someone else is taking care of his boo's needs. And it's just, I don't care about these two oligarchies in this other country, and it's the same way about how I don't care if, like, let me put it this way. Let's take the scale of it and just make it really, really small. Make it just 3 people. Make it some whore. This would of course be Ukraine would be the whore in this situation. Then let's take some abusive boyfriend and some abusive sugar daddy, right? So the abusive boyfriend comes back from a war to discover that there's another abusive man who's been her sugar daddy, and the whore has done some favors for the sugar daddy. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, bow, chicka, bow, wow. And I just don't care. I don't care about drama. About this drama specifically. All politics is a form of drama, but I don't care. You could just stop giving them money and sending the money to if we're just going to print money and just give it and just be giving it to people for free, may as well just give it to Americans, since it's the American government. But whatever, fine. U.S. forces are now on the ground in Ukraine because it's escalating. Because of course it's escalating. Why wouldn't it escalate? So again, all of this you could guess. But what I do care about is more domestic stuff. Big Tech colluded with the Department of Justice to prevent disinformation. This is from the anonymous ANN reporter over on theacropolisnews.com. The DA A report from The Intercept reveals corruption and collusion between big tech and the federal government. The DHS justify its evolving mission from countering foreign terror groups to policing domestic disinfo on social media. Leaked documents show DHS argues false information is a source of radical violence. Facebook and Twitter created special portals for the government to rapidly request content removal, including parody accounts. This also includes all the spying and shit from the Patriot Act. Okay, but if you want more, there goes in a little bit of detail further. But as always, I support me and my company. Okay, we always support original reporting, whether it comes from us or whether it comes from someone else. Okay, read the original report from the Intercept. Okay, read all of it. I highly recommend. It's a bit of a read. Shouldn't take more than 10 minutes, maybe. Something like that. 10-15 minutes, and that's if you're a slow reader. But the TLDR of this is everyone is saying that this is Biden's Watergate. No. This is not Biden's Watergate. Biden's Watergate was when he arrested journalists for doing journalism and breaking no laws. Biden's Watergate was trying to create a disinfo board. Biden's Watergate is the American people finding out that his son, Hunter Biden, has been schmoozing it up with crack whores, and doing a bunch of very questionable business dealings with governments overseas, including some of the countries, of course, being our enemies. Those are Biden's Watergate moments. Okay, this is an entirely separate category. This is Biden's Truth Cop moment. Okay, this is exclusively something that Biden has done. Okay, Biden is now in a category all his own of evil dictator. Biden is, etc. Okay, Watergate no longer has the sort of shiny appeal that it has. Okay, and that's because under the Trump administration, the corporate press kept repeatedly going, "Oh, this is worse than Watergate. Trump dumped rice into a koi pond. This is worse than Watergate, guys. It's worse than Watergate." And they kept doing that over and over and over and over again. Okay, but Musk took control of Twitter, officially has the reins, and everyone on the planet is freaking out that he hasn't snapped his fingers and solved every single problem overnight. Elon Musk clarifies that Donald Trump and other banned accounts won't be allowed back on Twitter before the midterms, if at all. And he spoke to people, talked to civil society leaders, ADL, NAACP, Bush Center. This is just don't expect it to solve all the problems to be solved overnight. Okay. A just king means nothing if the country is shrouded in darkness. I don't know. I'm trying to be poetic with this, but again, I don't care. And the reason I don't care is because I don't have a Twitter. Now, I do have other microblogging. I do microblogging on Minds and on Getter, and I used to do it on Parler, but they just had a 7-month period where they just refused to fix their user interface, and it was just abysmal, and comments would take just hours to post, and there was no app and all this shit. And I was like, all right, fine, whatever. And then I finally got it back, and I found out that I deleted my account, and so I was like, all right, whatever, screw it. Getter's very good. Getter's doing very well. I really like Getter, but anyway, we got to talk about democracy through the lens of Brazil. But understand that when I say Brazil, I mean any and all democratized systems. Okay, let's continue. So the Democrats, Media Matters for America, open democracy. Look, I really don't like the formulation of Enlightenment democracy. or I guess of post-Enlightenment democracy, because it really just seems that Democrats in the United States and the sort of global left more broadly seem to view democracy as democracy is when we win and you lose, and this happens every single time, no matter what. The average Joe in the country suffers for it, and if the average Joe in the country says anything about it, then we get to deprive them of equal access to the public square, harass their employer if we can't get them banned from the public square, until everyone just complies, you know. And then so when someone comments that another country is experiencing a similar problems to the United States and they have a similar solution because it's a similar problem in a fairly similar country. Brazil's on their 5th or 6th attempt at a republic now, which is just beyond stupid. Try another system, Brazil, please. But anyway, Steve Bannon leads baseless right-wing media claims that Brazil's election was rigged. Well, I don't want to say Brazilians, but people in Brazil view their own elections as something wrong. Now, full disclosure, I'm gonna post this video on YouTube because I don't care. I don't care enough to edit this segment out and then go to the thing back and forth. It's Friday. I got a lot of shit to do. Friday morning, incidentally, and I got a lot of shit to do. But essentially, this is the point I'm trying to make. Now, I've been hearing things about somewhere in Brazil's constitution outlines a specific provision or whatever in which the government can step in to make sure that everything pertaining to Brazil's democratized systems are in order. I scrolled through it. I couldn't find it, mainly because I don't really care about foreigners and foreign countries. Like, unless something like really, really terrible has happened to the foreigners in foreign countries, I really don't care. They're not a part of my moral constituency, etc., etc., etc. Okay? But what I'm trying to get at with this is that the libertarians are right, that there is no such thing as a non-violent use of force. So the best way to go about society is to not use force. Now, I severely disagree with some of the points in that because I'm not a libertarian. Okay, I actually do believe that force, okay, is a legitimate way of getting things done, and that democratized systems like voting are a form of force. Okay. I also believe that you could also have a king that just says, well, we are a kingdom, and so in this kingdom, what the king says goes. Okay, that is a form of force that is also legitimate. The problem is people think that voting is a means of preventing the use of force for politics in the country. It's not. It is a means of delaying the use of force in a country. Okay? Take case in point, the United States. Okay? We had the Civil War. 100 years later, we had the Civil War. It's it's a little over 100 years after the Civil War, and between then we've had We've had 2 world wars. Okay, but before then, okay, we need, okay, to acknowledge that democracy does not eliminate the use of force in politics. It merely delays it. It delays it. Okay, the United States is entering some kind of hot period with where use of force in politics keeps happening more and more and more. Okay, the leftists that attacked Paul Pelosi. There's someone running in a local election in North Carolina. He just had his I don't remember if it was his office or his house shot at. I'll cover it on Monday, but He had a place in which he resides shot at. You know, the stuff going on with the Supreme Court and the intimidation. The guy who planned on like kidnapping the Supreme Court justice and or his family. You know, we could go on and on and on, and we could go back more and more and more years. We could go to 2020 when the insurrection of 529 occurred, where where a bunch of leftist insurrectionists violently pillaged the capital of the United States and made the capital of the United States look like a war zone. They burned the Union's oldest church to the ground, and the president of the United States at the time had to retreat to a bunker because of the level of violence scaled to that of a war zone. People were also chanting, "Kill the president." So, again, there delays violence, does not stop it. There is no such thing as a non-violent use of force. The libertarians are right, but where the libertarians are incorrect is if you could just get enough people to vow to not be violent, then you just end violence forever. That's stupid, you know. But it just gets to a point. Okay, this is Brazil's 5th or 6th time, I don't remember, at trying some sort of republicanism. It's I don't want to say divulging or diluting, but it's just sort of going back to the natural state of politics, which is the use of force in the affairs of a city. I added the first part, but that's what politics means. It's the affairs of the city or the affairs of where people live. Okay, and sometimes you need to get violent to protect things, and sometimes the reason you need to get violent to protect things is because people are getting violent because they want to take things. Okay? And you can vote every 2, 4, 6 years in the United States to determine which representative is going to steal from who, which representative is going to deflate the currency or inflate the currency, which representative is going to bring jobs back to the United States or take the jobs away, or you could just not solve it because there is no solving this problem. Okay, because a part of the human condition is violence. But anyway, let's continue. Pennsylvania court ballots in undated envelopes won't count. It's not going to count. Running out of time. But a federal judge also rules that people can monitor ballot drop boxes. You can protect your own democracy. You could use here's the reality. Okay, you could use force in order to protect yourself from other people using force against you. Okay, again, violence is part of the human condition. It's up to us humans to determine the scale of it. To determine the scale of it. Okay, the people of Brazil, based on the crowds, seem to want some kind of military intervention. Okay, the people in the United States are using lies and smears as a form of intimidation, which is a use of force. And people in Arizona are trying to protect their democracy from people trying to use force to subvert their democracy. Okay, like it's okay. No matter what, it's always force. There's no such thing as peaceful politics. It does not exist. It's just the scale of the violence. But anyway, in the meantime, my name is Trevor Brown. You just watched this Trevor Report. Click the link tree down below that I was forced to make because Linktree banned my previous link tree for opposing black nationalism. So I made my new one. It's down below in the description. It's called the support link. Click it. Thanks so much.